Hello and welcome to another update on where we are with the CoW window manager. It's been a little while since I did one of these, and in that time there have been some changes which I think is worth talking about. The first one is to do with scrolling around virtual pages. So up until very recently, that command was the page command, but that's now been replaced with scroll. And the reason for that is because it's a little more beefed up than the previous command, such that you can scroll around specific outputs or monitors. You can wrap around based on where you are, which is another idiom from fvwm. You can scroll based on pixels rather than percentages. You can go directly to a coordinate with -a, so that's 1100. And you can even give it a direction to go left, right, up, down, and that will keep wrapping around. So I think that's probably a little more intuitive to say, but that will mean that your configuration will need updating. With that comes some other changes with rules. So this has been completely rewritten now to mimic what fvwm event used to do. So now rules have events that you can bind to on map, on move, on resize, etc. And what this means is that you can do things such as styling when you start up a particular window, for instance. If you wanted to bind an action, if you shade a window, you can do that as well. So that replaces some of the original concepts that the rule command had. And there's two types of rule. One is a generic always run regardless. So -g is global, i.e. it doesn't actually match any specific window at this point or output. It's just there to say if generally speaking, if you are mapping a window, send a message on the screen to say that something has appeared, for instance. If you wanted to do something specific around a window that's appearing on a specific desk across all monitors, then this example here shows how you might do that. You have to give a rule a name, and you can't clash with those names, otherwise it will produce an error. You can show rules if you wanted to. So for example, if I were to do that, and let's pipe that through to something a bit prettier, you can see that I've got a couple of rules here just to kind of illustrate how some of this works. I'll come back to cowpager in just a second. So I think anyone familiar with fvwm event will probably appreciate this. So the biggest feature, I suppose, that's happened so far is paging and representing pages, I suppose. So you can see, excuse me, a pager. This little one down here is tracking this monitor. This is tracking all monitors. Now, unlike the original pager from fvwm, this one's a little bit different when it comes to multi-monitor support. So with this overview, I'm showing all 10 desks, that's fine. And these numbers here indicate the monitors that are present. So I've actually got 7 monitors attached to this machine. And at the moment, I am on desk 2, monitor 4, which actually is called DVI I2. You can probably see that at the top here as well. If I click around, I can move between pages. just as you'd expect. And if you keep your eye on the bottom left there, you'll also see that that's dated, so that's fine. For the current desk, that's no problem. I can click and it will move me to that particular page. Happy days all round. That's quite familiar. What if I wanted though to move this monitor to say desk 7? Well, in this case, what I can do with the left mouse button is click that little label there, and I can drag that all the way down here. And you'll see now that I'm on desk 7. Again, just looking at the bottom left there, on page 00, and I can move around different pages on that desk. If I wanted to go back to where I was, I just again click and hold, and I drag that monitor to that desk and that page, and we're back to where we started. The color coordination might look like a bit of an explosion, but I think it's helpful when you're trying to sort of conceptualize where you are and what windows you have available. So to give you another example, all other monitors, well, not all of them actually, these monitors here are all on desk 0 on page 00. And again, I've got 2 monitors here which are actually on desk 1 on page 00. And again, if I were to click any one of these labels and drag them, that would move that viewport appropriately. At the moment, there is no configuration in terms of changing the style or the colors, so I apologize for that because I think some people might find it a bit garish, but it's a work in progress, and I think because of that there's likely to be bugs. Maybe the UI, or the UX I should say, isn't quite what we'd like. Maybe there's further tweaks to be had, but I would encourage people to use this, try it out, give some feedback, and hopefully this will become quite a useful feature. Certainly it's a bit different to what fvwm pager does anyway. Lastly, I just want to talk about scrolling. So I mentioned the scroll command earlier. It's also now possible to pan around the outputs. So I've initiated a mouse binding here where I'm dragging in, and you'll see that as I do so, I'm moving between pages and the windows on that page are coming into view. And that's a feature that fvwm has had for donkey's years, and I do think it's quite useful. And I do use this a lot, funny enough, to sort of peek onto other pages. And if I just come back to where I was like that, we're back to where we started. That's achieved via the scroll command using -R, which will start an interactive drag the viewport pan. So there you have it. Those are the sort of key updates. On final thing, the man pages, plural, have been rewritten by me, by hand. Hopefully it's a little more intuitive how things are set up. If not, let me know. If there's any questions, let me know. But otherwise, hope you enjoyed this, and I'll catch you in the next one.